It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3 on this beautiful Monday morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have the pleasure of hosting two remarkable gentlemen. One of them, war photographer and philanthropist, whom we've just learned about today, has had an amazing career, took that very first iconic photo of Nelson Mandela when he left prison on that iconic date, on that day, the 21st of February 1990. And also joining us is Professor Jimmie Earl Perry, who's the UN AIDS Goodwill Ambassador to South Africa, talking about the great work that they're going to be doing. They're going to be collaborating on the 9th of June through a big concert, the Artists for AIDS, right? Tell us about that.
Absolutely. I think in December, I know in December you interviewed us for the World AIDS Day concert.
Yes.
And this is another mass awareness concert on HIV awareness, which we call the South African Artists for AIDS Awareness Concert. I'm an activist, being a UN AIDS Goodwill Ambassador, and I'm very strong on testing, HIV testing.
Yes.
And I think the more people that test, I think we would lead greatly to an HIV-free planet.
You need to know your status.
So we need to keep people aware of it. And so each year we try to expose as many wonderful local artists as possible in all the creative arts, photography notwithstanding, and how iconic and wonderful for the Africa Center to have teamed up with this incredible gentleman who has these incredible iconic photos. Being an American, when Mandela was released, and of course, as we know, Newsweek is an American rag, this photo was the one that enlightened most Americans who were very unaware of the apartheid system going on. This was the photo that enlightened most Americans of what was going on in South Africa. So yes, on June 9, at Artscape Theatre, Sunday evening, we will be doing our concert. It's the 7th annual one, and we're going to use Mark's photographs as a projection on the screen for a certain number, actually. It's a number from Serafina called Freedom is Coming, and these photographs will be underscoring Nelson Mandela's speech, which he did when he came out. And we're hoping, as he said earlier on the program, that he can get these sold. It is an extremely wonderful, timely moment this year for this to be exposed to the world and offered to the world. And whatever fees he gets from it, the Africa Center will benefit as a philanthropic gesture from Mark.
And I mean, these are quite some pieces to behold.
They're special.
Mark, we were talking about the fact that the double-sided one that you had, that photograph, I mean, of course, this is the print from the magazine, but the actual photograph, there are only 3 of them in the world.
It's only, there's 3 of them in the world. Mr. Mandela, I think in 2000, asked me, he liked that picture. So I printed up 3 pictures, and I gave him one. He signed one to me, and then he signed the frame, the picture frame as well. So it's double signed.
Yes.
So it's the only one in the world that's double signed. And the other one I gave to Prince Philip, the Queen's husband, and he and his son Prince Edward came out to the castle in 2000, and we had a auction and a dinner. And there were wealthy people there, the Pulitzers, the Roosevelts, and it went for £204,000, and then the check was given, which is about 2.5 million at that time, and the check was given to me, and I gave it to to Prince Philip for his children's fund. And a portion of that also went to Mr. Mandela's fund.
Remarkable. Now, the one that we see there, is that the last one that's in your possession?
Yeah, there's only 3 in the. Mandela has one, I had that one, and the one that was bought by a Belgium collector.
And this one is signed
Double
also?
signed.
Yeah, this is double signed. That's the only one in the world.
Which means you're getting rid of all your personally signed
I'm getting rid
photographs
of it all, and I'd like it to stay in South Africa. And
How selfless.
It's a piece of South African history. And I was part
I
of
think
it.
government should buy this and have it somewhere in Parliament or in a museum.
Well, actually, my thought was possibly in London at the South African consulate, which is an extraordinary building. and to have this hanging there for all international people to come through, and then they can loan it to South Africa for an exhibition.
I was about to say, I'm a little bit jealous and a bit kind of. This is national
wanna hold
treasure
it
that
to
we do.
yourself.
We want to keep it
Absolutely.
here. How do
It's
you-
all about keeping Mr. Mandela's legacy alive for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a South African, I'd like it to be here. You know, in corporate headquarters, mining house, banking institution, a tertiary institution, a library at a university.
Sure.
Well, as Professor Berry said, maybe it should move around the world and in South African embassies. Have it for 6 months, 6 months.
I think that's where
It's about
we
keeping
can
Mr. Mandela. It's not about the money. It's about keeping Mr. Mandela's legacy alive for me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it.
And indeed, many South Africans are doing that through Mandela Monday, through different initiatives.
Absolutely.
2 weeks ago on Mandela Monday, I baked muffins and gave it to a couple of people on the street. It was very weird to do that, but it made me feel
man,
good.
good
Are you
man.
guys doing anything for Mandela Monday?
Well, we're working so hard
Yeah.
on doing this because the AIDS awareness concert on June 9 is significant in many ways. One,
Yeah.
to expose these iconic photographs, and two, it is a week before Youth Day, so we're ushering in that week by keeping this alive because the youth were very instrumental, I would think, leading up to '94,
Absolutely, yeah.
for Mandela to be released and to move forward as he did. And you know, the youth in this country are getting a bad rap, I think, with all sorts of other ills like drugs and alcohol, etc. That we're going to honor and acknowledge some wonderful young people who are doing great things. And I think them having this set as their background will continue to motivate them.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming
Thank
in
you.
and motivating us with your wonderful work. Of course, that concert taking place at 7 o'clock in the evening at the Artscape Theatre on Sunday, the 9th of June, the South African Artists for AIDS Awareness Concert 2013. All right, now let's take a look at what's been happening in Hollywood. It's our Week in Review.